Picture this. You're a varsity player for the sport that you love to play. You're out of practice and everything is going great. Then you see your principal and 2 police officers walk over to your coach and start talking to him. A minute later, they come over and start talking to your entire team. They say that they have to do a couple drug tests on some of the players, and then you start to feel worry turn in your stomach. Has this scenario ever happened to you? Maybe not to you, but to your entire school. Every school has dogs come and search every now and then. Think of how unfair sports are played when kids use performance-enhancing drugs. How can we fix this problem? I've done research on the problem of performance-enhancing drugs, the solution to this problem, and the benefits that come from these solutions. Today, I will cover the problem of performance-enhancing drugs, the solutions, and the benefits. Now that we're aware that there is a problem, let's talk about the specific problem. If you'll go to the next slide please. Okay. So the first problem is the health consequences of using these drugs. Mayo Clinic states that some of the health consequences that are caused are blood clotting, reduction in sperm production, higher blood pressure, mood swings, and liver malfunctions. OrthoInfo also states that players have more physical consequences. For example, players will receive acne, scars, women will receive hair on their face and their body, women will also receive deeper voices, and males will lose their hair earlier than they should. The second problem is that players will be suspended from their sports. Sports Reference states that the first 2 times a player is caught with a positive drug test, they have a 50 and 100 game suspension. The 3rd time they are caught, they are banned from the sport. They also state that other sports will take this punishment one step further. They say that the first time a player is caught with a positive drug test, they will have to go see a drug counselor and have to continue taking these drug tests and to prove that they stay clean. The 2nd and 3rd time that they are caught with positive drug tests, they will receive a game suspension, and then the 4th time, they're banned. If we look at this slide, we see that multiple players use performance-enhancing drugs. We see that bodylifting has 270 competitors that use drugs to make themselves bigger so they do better. If we'll go to the next slide, please. Okay, now that we've looked at the problem, we can look at the solution. The first solution is to make performance-enhancing drugs legal. The organization AEON says that performance-enhancing drugs should be made legal as long as they're being used under medical supervision. They state that a level should be set of how much usage a player can use of this drug. The second solution is to educate players on the side effects of these drugs. Sport 80 states that athletes that use these drugs don't know the side effects of the drugs, and so they continue to use them, versus players that do know the side effects. If we look at this slide, we see that the marijuana is considered a performance-enhancing drug, and if we look at the usage of no, they have a smaller percentage of how many people use marijuana and have a smaller percentage of the other drugs that are listed. But if we look at the yes answers, we see that they have a higher percentage of marijuana use and a higher percentage of other uses of the drugs that are listed. So now that we've looked at the problem, the solutions, we'll look at the benefits. The first benefit is that the sport will be played fairly and rewards will be given fairly. The website Atlantic states that athletes using a drug has an advantage over other competitors and that they don't deserve the rewards that they're being given. If we look at this slide, we see that this player that did use performance-enhancing drugs received more gold awards or medals because they used these drugs, which made them bigger and helped their performance better. So another benefit is that your team will be taught honesty and responsibility. The same website, Atlantic, states that drug use is cheating, and if we stop the drug use, that our teams will be taught honesty because they won't want to cheat anymore. They also state that if we stop this drug use, they will be taught responsibility for their health and they won't want to take unnecessary risks for their health just so they become better in their sport. In summary, schools should make students take performance-enhancing drug tests because our sports will become healthier and they will become more fair. The problem with performance-enhancing drugs are players will become suspended and they will later have health problems. The solution is to make these drugs either legal or to educate athletes so they won't use these drugs. The benefits is that our sports will be played more fairly and that they will be taught honesty and responsibility. I hope next time you go to a school board meeting or have a chance to change how athletes enhance their performance, you speak up. That you talk about what you can do to educate athletes and the side effects and what you can do to stop the usage. This is my audience.